Shaun Cassidy first burst onto the scene in the mid-1970s as a teen idol, leveraging his good looks and musical talent to launch a successful career in music and television. The son of Hollywood stars Shirley Jones and Jack Cassidy and younger half-brother of the Partridge Family's David Cassidy, Shaun seemed destined for fame and fortune from a young age. He signed a record deal while still in high school and went on to release several hit albums over the next few years. In this video, we'll take a look at his early career, why he shifted in trajectory, and the reasons we don't see much of Shaun anymore these days. Meteoric Rise. As a talented teen growing up in LA, Shaun Cassidy signed his first record deal with Warner Brothers at 17 years old in 1975. His self-titled debut album dropped in 1976, spawning the hit single Da Do Run Run, which hit #1 on the Billboard Hot 100. Over the next few years, Shaun became a sensation among young audiences, garnering frequent comparisons to his teen idol brother David. He released 3 more successful albums over the next few years: Born Late, Under Wraps, and Room Service. Several of his upbeat power pop singles like That's Rock and Roll and Hey Deanie crack the pop top 10 charts, cementing his status as a bona fide 1970s heartthrob. At the peak of his fame, he graced the covers of teen magazines like Tiger Beat and drew massive crowds of screaming fans to his concerts. However, Shaun later said he never felt fully comfortable with the teen idol perception, as he saw the fickleness of pop music fame, having watched his older brother David rise and fall. Breaking new ground. As Shaun rapidly ascended as a pop star, he also broke into professional acting in 1977, first guest starring on an episode of Police Story. That led to Universal Studios offering him an audition for the Hardy Boys' Nancy Drew Mysteries, which sparked his casting as teen detective Joe Hardy alongside Parker Stevenson. The show is based on the popular book series and ran for 3 seasons from 1977 to 79, portraying the brothers Frank and Joe Hardy as they solved weekly mysteries. Starring on the show boosted his fame and exposure. Given his young heartthrob status, he found additional acting opportunities like starring in the 1978 TV movie Like Normal People. He also had a short-lived stint on the soap opera General Hospital before deciding to retreat from on-camera work along with music a couple years later. Retreat from stardom. In early 1980, at just 21 years old, he played what would become his last concert for decades, performing in front of 55,000 screaming fans at Houston's Astrodome. But with the teen pop phenomenon dying out and his fortunes quickly fading amidst changing tastes, Shaun decided to consciously walk away from both the music and acting industries that had made him famous. Unlike half-brother David, who struggled greatly with substance abuse and the pressures of early superstardom, Shaun intentionally withdrew into suburban normalcy and avoided any lingering spotlight. He has said this extended retreat likely saved him professionally and personally. He lived an extremely quiet life through most of the 80s and early 90s as he focused on raising a family. During this time, his creative output was limited to occasional regional theater productions. Broadway and American Gothic. In 1993, Shaun reunited with his brother David to co-star for a year on Broadway in the musical drama Blood Brothers. Shaun saw the intensive experience of theatrical performing as creatively stimulating, which renewed his ambitions in developing original material of his own someday. Shortly thereafter, in 1995, he finally got a big break when the pilot script he'd written for the Southern Gothic horror thriller American Gothic was picked up on CBS. While it only lasted 1 cult classic season, it represented Shaun's official transition from performer to successful creator and producer working behind the camera. It set him on a new career course that continued yielding TV writing and production gigs to the present day. Television writer and producer. In the quarter century since American Gothic put Cassidy on the map as a writer, he's gone on to have a very successful career, writing, creating, and producing numerous network TV dramas and genre shows. Highlights include producing the fantasy adventure series Roar alongside then up-and-comer Heath Ledger in 1997. He later worked on the CIA drama The Agency and sci-fi invasion thriller Invasion in the early 2000s. From 2016 to 2022, he served as executive producer and writer on the NBC medical drama New Amsterdam. Across all his writing and production credits over the years, common themes have included complex moral dilemmas, the supernatural, and human psychology. Sporadic returns to performing. Although Shaun left his early performing career behind decades ago, he's made occasional returns to the stage over the years. After tryouts in regional theater in the 90s, he brought his autobiographical one-man show, The Magic of a Midnight Sky, to off-Broadway in June of 2023. The show featured Shaun reflecting on his early fame, complex family life, and personal reinvention, while also performing some of his old pop hits along with new compositions. Reviews were positive, with Variety praising Cassidy's surprising candor. This limited New York City run marked Shaun's first major performing stint in over 40 years and showed he still has a cultural connection and appeal to longtime fans. But at age 63, with a solid second career established behind the scenes, any future repeating touring schedules seem unlikely. Shaun's been married 3 times. His first marriage in 1979 to Ann Pennington, a model, lasted 14 years and produced 2 children. In the mid-90s, he wed actress Susan Dial, with whom he had 1 child before divorcing in 2003. Since 2004, he's been married to producer Tracy Lynn Turner, with the couple raising 4 children together. Now a father of 7 kids, ranging from their late teens to early 40s, Cassidy has frequently cited fatherhood as his proudest accomplishment. He's spoken poignantly over the years about his relationships with his late parents, Shirley Jones and Jack Cassidy, as well as his lifelong connection to the late half-brother David. After David's passing in 2017, Shaun wrote touchingly, quote, "I'll carry him along with the funny, sad, extraordinary days we shared, none more filled with love than these last few at his side." Where is he now? At age 63, he maintains an active role as a producer on New Amsterdam, which is currently airing its 5th and final season. On the home front, the former teen idol lives a quiet domestic life focused on raising his large family with wife Tracy. Though his early pop star fame is now just an artifact buried in 1970s teen magazines, Shaun rediscovered his passion for performance with his recent one-man show. When looking back on his twisting career path and many identities over the decades, he humbly admits, "I have a weird resume, I just do." But the creep of nostalgia has clearly allowed him to make some peace with his cultural impact as a youthful pop sensation, even if it occupies just a short, explosive chapter in his ongoing story. Now reaching his mid-60s, he seems fulfilled and content, having trafficked between various roles on stage and behind the scenes over his unusual but rich life in showbiz. Now it's time to hear from you. What's your favorite memory of Shaun Cassidy's career? Let us know in the comments section below.